looks like the original and is going to really, really explode. I think it looks wonderful. If this thing actually does work technically, it's going to be extraordinary. The really exciting thing first was seeing the model for the first time. It's an extraordinary set, and it is completely seamless. There are moments where you have to be huge with this. I mean, Coney Island, it's no point in doing Coney Island unless you see it. What Coney Island was like in its heyday, though, it was one of the 8 wonders of the world. In fact, Sigmund Freud said it was the only reason to go to America.
One of the great things about my plot within the show is that I get to explore to the fullest extent the amazing set that we have to work on. It's an enormous set, and it's over it's like a 3-story building.
When I saw the tent reveal where the tent flies out and the lights just go crazy and everyone starts singing, I was sitting with Simon Gleeson in the auditorium and we both just went. It was very music theatre, but I can't remember being in a theatre and actually having a sort of a physical reaction like that.
The show kind of oscillates between large-scale spectacle and quite intimate scenes, like 3-hander, 2-hander scenes, last for a long time. The other thing that I was very conscious of is that it needed to absolutely effortlessly flow. So a lot of our design time was spent with me kind of stop watching the kind of link music. Although Andrew was great, he said, look, if you need more music written to cover scene change, he was very happy to do that. But there's something very beautiful about the flow of the piece, I thought. And so we worked a long time on just making sure that I felt comfortable that I could keep the show moving in a fluid way.
The one thing that did remain constant, and was the only idea that I quite liked, was the idea that it was set in America. And originally it was going to be set in Manhattan, and the original idea was that he'd become kind of Howard Hughes type figure and become the most powerful man in the New World. But this omnipowerful man was still pining for Christine. That was the original idea, and he therefore sent for her. We couldn't make it work because the problem with the story is that it hit really basically the same moment as we had in the original. And that was when, the Phantom sang to her directly on stage. We couldn't find a way through that. And then the idea happened about maybe he went to Coney Island, where he could have been among all the freaks and the oddities and the strange people who lived there. And of course it was a community of people who really couldn't live anywhere else.
We've been doing this show for quite a long time, and 8 times a week. And the scale of it is something that we do nearly every day. And it's not just, again, the visual element of it. The cast and the orchestra that you hear are just a small snippet of kind of the machine of putting on something like this. And so you're working with 120 people across multiple departments, and it's just a huge juggernaut of a musical. And the beauty of that is what you see on film. That kind of massive scale means that you can do these kind of massive stories, and on sets like the one we've got.
It's like discovering this old world picture book and opening up, and every page is better than the page before, and it really, you are swept into this magical fairyland almost. You walk out on stage and you are facilitated as far as the acting journey goes, because this is your realm, this is your world. For a moment you forget that you are on set.
My world is beautiful. All of my most secret dreams.
Probably the most commonly asked question is, what's it like to play the Phantom? And, it's awesome. It's the thing with this character is that it's so important to so many people, and you know, it also comes with a great history. And so I've always thought of it like it makes my job a lot easier as an actor, because so many people already come understanding an element of the Phantom and who he is. So, you know, I just think it's a thrill, and the colours, both vocally and emotionally, that you get to explore in this particular show are basically a gift for any actor.
Hopes pass, let dreams pass, let them die. Without you, what are they for? I'll always feel no more than halfway real.
You know, it's been a thrill for me to be able to, you know, take that ride on every night and really explore the character to the fullest extent.
Christine has grown a lot in her journey from Phantom to Love Never Dies. In this show, I really love playing her as a mum. In Phantom, Christine's dealing with the grief of losing her father, really, and there's this really pivotal point in Phantom where she sings "Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again." It's sort of this big cathartic letting go for her of her father figure. So then in Love Never Dies, I feel like sort of a part of her has been kind of healed by becoming a parent herself.